We are never, ever, ever, ever allowed to beat Coventry, are we? Oh, I don't think I want to play them ever again, to be honest. Sunderland can find ways to frustrate you, can't they? To be honest, I wasn't. I was debating going back and forth whether to do a video because actually I did manage to catch most of the game. I missed the first 10 minutes and then I've pretty much caught everything after that. So I guess to bear in mind what I'm saying, misses out the first 10 minutes, so I don't know how much of this I'm being accurate or not. First half, I thought Sunderland controlled enough of it. We didn't have 50 chances in the first half. We didn't have loads and loads of opportunities, but Coventry didn't have anything in the first half, and we were in control enough to the point where I thought we did deserve to be in front for that. And I'll quickly talk about the positives. The 2 goals we scored today were screamers. Like Wilson Isidor has just scored another beautiful technical goal. It's really, really good. And again, it's a kind of a similar finish to his Oxford one, but it's really, really good all the same. And I'm really impressed with Isidore up front. And I'm starting to think now, when I said at the start of the season that he would be a winger, that I was completely wrong in that, because I think he's now playing as a forward, and I think the couple of times he's been on the wing, particularly in first half at Preston, and second half today, he was pretty wasteful, but he's just wasted in that position. And then Cirkin, take a bow. Like, I was screaming for him to pass it, and then he goes, screw you, Michael Bowers, and then ends up scoring a rasping worldie into the back of the net. And then that's where the positives end, because the second half was very, very poor from our perspective. There's no getting away from it. That should have been 3 points. But I'm not going to take anything away from Coventry. They fully deserve something second half. And I've said repeatedly all along, and again, as long as you're respectful in the comments, it's completely fine that you disagree, because I know there will be people who disagree about it, but as long as you're civil about it, that's what this is there for. That's what this is here for. For me, though, I think Coventry are in a false position with the team that they've got. And I know they just sat Mark Robbins, but like, for me, I think the team they've got is a top 6 level team. I think it's just not performing like one at the moment. And I had a funny feeling today where it was going to be a draw. And look, I did say I wouldn't have complained with a draw. And before anyone says, no, that's not being negative, it's being respectful to the opposition, I feel like, you've got to bear in mind, before Hull, I said I wanted to be on 30 points going into the November international break. And we've gone above that and got 31. It just doesn't feel as good because we've drawn the last few games. But Coventry, to be fair to them, I think are always a difficult team, and it wouldn't surprise me if we go and lose the game down there. It's just it's just mental how we can never beat them. It's just ridiculous. Now, having said all of that, Coventry, I think the first goal came around from us messing about in our own third. I need to check that back though. I might be wrong. But Haji Wright was a good finish, and he's proven again, for me, he's one of the best strikers in the Championship. If you give him the space, he will score. And then the second one, I could be wrong again, but I think Cirkin was bullied a little bit too easily by Jack Rudoni. But look, again, not taking anything away from Coventry, they fully deserve the point. A draw by the end was definitely, absolutely 100% a fair result. I'm not going to complain too much at that. But look, from Sunderland's point of view, yeah, I am frustrated. That should be a 3 points if you're, and I'm not going to, I've seen quite a few people on social media do this, and again, I always say people have their own opinion, and people are going to be reactionary, but I'm not going to lie, it does annoy me, because, 3 games ago, it's like, oh, we can do no wrong, we're absolutely walking the league. Then 3 games later, when we've had a bit of a sticky patch, but we haven't lost a game, it's like, oh, well, we've definitely got no chance of going up then. For me, and by the way, I've been saying this when we've won a game. I've said, when we win a game, I try not to get too high. And when we don't win a game, like in today, because it feels like a loss, I try not to get too low. Because I understand the concerns. The recent performances have been poor for our standards. I'm not going to take QPR into this, and I don't think it would be fair to, because that game, whether we were poor before, for me, is irrelevant. We were down to 10 men for nearly 40 minutes of the game and got something out of it. But the last 2 games, you can certainly make the argument that for 1.5 of those games, we were poor. Preston, we definitely were poor for the whole 90 minutes, and on this particular occasion, we were poor second half, and it cost us 2 points. But I think so I'm as frustrated as anybody, and there is a concern with Millwall coming up that we've got Roberts and Hume out through suspension, and we've now got, I think it's Mundell and who's the other one, Brown, out injured potentially, depending on how serious their injuries are. And it's clear to me more than ever that we are definitely missing Joe Bellingham in the middle of the park. The good thing is, we've only got 1 more game with Jobe's suspension, then he's back. And the good thing, and one way you could look at this in a positive way, is that for Hume, Roberts and Jobe, unless they get injured in the build-up to West Brom, by that point they should be well rested and fresh. But obviously we've got to get to Millwall first, and that's a really tough game because Millwall obviously drew today, but they've beaten Burnley and Leeds at the Den, so that's no means a walk in the park by any stretch of the imagination. I think perspective is still needed in the fact that we are still above 2 points per game, and obviously depending on the result of the Steel City derby tomorrow, the worst case scenario is we're going to drop to second. Now I know you can be frustrated with recent performances, but for me that does not mean you can just ignore the bigger picture. And it works both ways. I'm saying the bigger picture, but I have to admit recent performances haven't been great. But for me, I think we're still in a cracking position. We are still in an absolutely cracking position. And if we're going through a sticky patch and a little bad spell, which we did say was going to happen, and I did say this, by the way, when we won games as well, before anyone tries anything, I did say specifically we will have a little wobble at some point. And at this point, it looks, if our wobble is meaning we're still picking up points, even if today should have been a win, then I would take that. Now, obviously, the counter to that is you then have to respond with with some good results in the next few games coming up, but deal with that when you come to it. We've got a couple of weeks off now to sort of recover it and see where we can go from there. But yeah, I'll love you and leave you there, guys, because I've gone on for about 6 minutes, and I think I'm just waffling at this point. But anyway, guys, yeah, I'll love you and leave you. Look, it should have been 3 points today, but Coventry did deserve something. We got what we deserved. Coventry deserved more than deserved a point out of the game. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the games. We'll see in the international break. Hopefully everyone comes back with a clean bill of health, and we'll see what happens in the games coming up. But anyway, guys, next week I'm probably going to do a video talking about our credentials potentially, and we'll see where we go with that. So I'll probably do a video of some description during the international break. But for now, if you're watching the video and you're not a regular subscriber and I'm trying to get to 6k and you think I've earned a sub from you, hit the subscribe button, like, share around, that'll be much appreciated. And again, comment respectfully what you think, and we'll take it from there, really. Take care, guys, stay safe, and how are the lads?